Welcome to my ultimate video all about the Mist Trail in Yosemite National Park. Welcome to Yosemite. I have been on this trail so many times. It's one of the most popular trails in Yosemite Valley. It's the Mist Trail, where you head up to Vernall Fall and then ultimately Nevada Fall. Ironically, this is also where I started my John Muir Trail hike back in 2016, but you can also hike up to Half Dome and Clouds Rest from here. So you can normally get a shuttle bus here, but it's not running at the moment. So the nearest parking is at Curry Village. So let's go and check it out.
So about the trail. The Mist Trail has two routes that you can take to make it up to Vernall Falls. So the standard route follows the trail from Happy Isles, crosses the Footbridge, and then ascends up a series of steps in the midst of the water flowing from Vernall Fall, hence the name Mist Trail. However, in winter, that trail is closed, and you would take the John Muir Trail to Clark Point and then down from there. In winter, you can clearly see this depicted on the winter route maps. From Vernall Fall, you can take the Mist Trail all the way up to Nevada Fall, or you can take a detour from the Silver Apron up towards Clark Point and then take the JMT over to Nevada Fall. You can also turn this into a loop hike, or you could go on further. At the trailhead, there is a very clear map showing you all the options which you can refer to. If you don't carry a map with you or use something like All Trails, which I highly recommend that you do, you could always take a photo of this on your phone to use for quick reference. For the purpose of the video today, and to make it a little bit easier, because everybody's hike is different, right? And I encourage you to hike your own hike. So I've split the trail into 4 options. So the first one is section 1, and that will cover the trail from Happy Isles trailhead up to the Footbridge. Section 2 will take you up the Mist Trail to Vernall Fall and to the Silver Apron. And then section 3 will take you up the Mist Trail to Nevada Falls. Section 4 is a little bit more ambiguous, and I've left this intentionally towards the end. This is where you can pad your hike out, so you might want to take the JMT back down to the valley, which again I highly recommend because it gives you some different views just for a start, but also you get to experience the descent without all of the steps and the mist and the crowds on the Mist Trail. You could also take the Panorama Trail over to Glacier Point, which obviously is going to be a long day, but it's so good if you can do it. You can also go on to other destinations outside of the valley as well. So section 1, it's 0.8 miles from Happy Isles to the Footbridge. I describe it as moderate, though it is accessible for everyone. It's paved and it is wheelchair accessible and pushchair or stroller accessible as well.
Whichever trail you're planning to do, you're going to need to hike from the Happy Isles trailhead to the Vernall Falls Footbridge. That's going to be your first point where you need to get to. So regardless, you're going to have to go this super steep granite path. However, if you take your time, it's not that bad and it is paved. But look at some of the views that you get. Illilouette Falls is right up there, and you can see it cascading down and then ultimately joining the Merced River here, which is just buzzing through this morning. I've not seen anyone else on the trail, so another top tip is this is when most people tend to turn back. You get a third of people make it here, another third to the top of Vernall Fall, and then the rest push on to the top. But the water is proper gushing, so there's so much snow and rain, and yeah, the life is definitely coming back into Yosemite.
So section 2. So this is going to take us from the Footbridge to Vernall Falls. So from the trailhead, if you're going to go all the way, so this is from the Happy Hours trailhead to the top of Vernall Fall, it's 1.2 miles. Again, I've marked it as moderate. So the pink footsteps depict the mist trail, which you can do in the summer, and the red footsteps are the JMT up to Clark Point, which is the alternative trail. Or if you want to make this a loop, you could make it to the Silver Apron and then head up to Clark Point and then back down from there and then rejoin just ahead of the Footbridge.
So there's some seasonal restrooms here, but they're closed for the season, but they may, depend on when you visit, be in use. Hiking up the mist trail is so much fun, but it's really hard on the legs, so don't worry if you have to stop. There's plenty of rocks where you can like step in, take a seat, let other people pass, and just catch your breath. Because every time I do this hike, and I've done this hike more times than I care to remember, I struggle. So you're not alone. On a day like today, this section of the trail is so cold because as it's so windy and there's so much water, it's blowing right on us and we are absolutely soaked and cold. But if it's a hot, warm day in like May, when the summer really starts to kick in Yosemite, you really benefit walking up this trail from that cool mist to cool you down. But you do this trail later in the year, so you come in the fall or even early winter, and you won't get anything. It might be a trickly, tiny thing of water going down. But just look at that. That really is Mother Nature in her forceful anger feeding the earth after a dry winter.
And section 2, Vernall Fall to Nevada Fall. So from, again, the initial trailhead at Happy Hours, you will have hiked 2.8 miles to get to the top of Nevada Falls on the mist trail. Of course, you double that then for your return. This, again, can be accessed via the JMT, more so in the summer, because in the winter this section of the JMT is usually closed due to snow and ice. But you can see where the red footprints would connect from Clark Point to join the pink footprints to take you to Nevada Fall, and then you can see that black John Muir Trail line, which is an option, and there's a couple of footprints just to show you how you'd access it from that side. You could also get here from Glacier Point if you're going to take the Panorama Trail. You could join up at Nevada Fall. I've done that myself before. But yeah, you're basically going to meander through the forest and then up some short, sharp switchbacks just above Nevada Fall, and then it's a short hike back down.
I think that straight after the falls, the crowds really dissipate. I mean, today there's no crowds anyway because we've come in winter time and it's a weekday and it's early in the morning. But this is the sort of last point where you see crowds of people. It dissipates a lot. And then there's two options. You can either hike to the falls or you can hike to Clark Point. Now at Clark Point, you get an amazing view of the falls, or you can hike to behind the falls. Now in the this section of the trail doesn't usually have any mist, and even now I'm actually dry. But there are patches where you can walk out nearer to view the falls, and at those points there is a little bit of mist, which is quite nice, but you'll only really get that early on in the season. This final ascent up to Nevada Falls consists of around 16 very small stony switchbacks. You get this insane view of the fall behind you, but as you can tell, it's very open. It's literally just rocks and boulders. So if you were doing this on a hot summer's day, at this point you're going to be really struggling for water. So there's plenty of rocks and things where you can stop, take a time out, make sure you drink some water, because I've done this in the summer and it's tough going. You also have backpackers and things heading up to Half Dome, to the JMT, Tuolumne Meadows, and sometimes they'll be carrying huge backpacks, as I have in this picture here when I was literally in this spot a few years ago doing the JMT. So yeah, you'll need to make sure that you take regular breaks and stuff. But so far, still haven't bumped into anybody on the trail, so nice and peaceful. At this point, the trail verges off to go up towards Clouds Rest, Tuolumne Meadows, and most commonly Half Dome. So on a different video, I'm going to head up there. So keep looking out on the channel for that. If you subscribe and turn on notifications, and obviously you'll get notified when that video is live. Until then, I'm going to